Once upon a time, there was a town called Kaydee. Kaydee was a rich and happy place where people lived in peace. The town was full of bright houses, beautiful gardens, and busy markets. The people of Kaydee worked hard every day to make their town the best it could be. They planted crops, tended animals, and built new homes. Every street in Kaydee was filled with laughter and music, and the sound of friendly voices filled the air. The town of Kaydee was famous in the land for its prosperity. People from other places came to see Kaydee's great fields and learn its secrets of growth and wealth. The elders of the town were wise and kind, and they helped the people solve many problems. The men, women, and children of Kaydee all worked together to keep the town peaceful and prosperous. However, not far away from Kaydee, other towns watched with jealous eyes. These neighboring towns were not as prosperous as Kaydee, and they envied its success. The leaders of these towns often whispered among themselves, thinking of ways to take away the good fortune that Kaydee enjoyed. They believed that if they could make Kaydee suffer, then their own towns might become stronger and richer. One day, the leaders of the neighboring towns decided to put their plan into action. They began to secretly gather their soldiers. These men were brave and strong, but they did not fight in the usual way. Their customs did not allow them to fight honorably in battle. Instead, they planned to surprise Kaydee with unexpected attacks, hoping that fear would break the spirit of the town. In Kaydee, the people had begun to sense that something was wrong. There were whispers of plots and plans coming from the neighboring lands. The elders of Kaydee held many meetings, and the air in the town grew heavy with worry. The men, who had always been proud and strong, began to feel fear. They were not sure how to face such an unknown threat, and many of them started to believe that the town could not survive an attack. At the heart of the town, the old council members gathered in a grand building near the center. They were wise men and women who had led Kaydee through many good times. In the meeting hall, under the glow of oil lamps, they discussed the troubling news. "Our town has been blessed with peace for many years," one elder said. "But now, the jealous hearts of our neighbors have set their eyes on Kaydee. We must act before it is too late." The council members prayed for guidance and decided to consult the great oracle of the land. The oracle was a mysterious and powerful figure who lived in a hidden place far away from human eyes. Many believed that the oracle could see the future and reveal secrets that no one else could understand. The elders hoped that the oracle's wisdom would show them the way to protect Kaydee. After a long journey, a small group of the elders arrived at the oracle's dwelling. It was a quiet place deep in the forest, where tall trees whispered ancient secrets. The oracle, sitting by a clear stream, welcomed them in a calm and steady voice. The elders explained their troubles and asked the oracle for help. After a long silence, the oracle spoke, "There is only one way to protect your town from the coming storms. You must send me 5 male children who are full of hope and courage." The words of the oracle shocked the elders. They wondered why children should be sent when the threat was of armed men and powerful armies. But the oracle's eyes were deep and full of wisdom, and the elders knew they could not refuse the command. Deep in their hearts, they believed that the oracle's plan was not a punishment but a hidden blessing. The elders returned to Kaydee with the oracle's command. The town was filled with confusion and fear. Many people cried and pleaded, "How can we give up our children?" Yet, the elders explained that the oracle's words were clear. The children must go if Kaydee was to be saved. Although the adults felt heavy hearts, they trusted the oracle's wisdom more than their own fear. In the days that followed, the town prepared for a difficult task. The men, who had felt afraid of the coming battle, were now torn between their love for their families and their duty to protect the town. Still, the decision was made. 5 young boys, chosen for their pure hearts and brave spirits, were gathered before the town's elders. These 5 children were known by all for their kind smiles and gentle ways. On a bright morning, under a sky that seemed to hold a hidden promise, the elders led the 5 boys to a special place at the edge of Kaydee. There, an ancient gate opened to a dark forest that stretched out as far as the eye could see. The elders spoke in low, serious voices. Today, you are chosen to go to the oracle. Your journey is important for our town's survival. Remember, you carry the hope of Kaydee in your hearts. The children looked at one another with wide eyes. They did not fully understand what was happening, but they sensed that they must be brave. Their small hands trembled slightly as they gripped the hands of their loved ones for one last moment. The whole town gathered to watch them leave. Mothers clutched their children's clothes, fathers wiped away tears, and elders prayed silently as the children stepped through the ancient gate into the unknown. For many days after the children disappeared, the people of Kaydee waited with anxious hearts. Every sunrise and sunset brought a mix of hope and fear. The town was restless, for the news came that a great army from the neighboring towns was gathering. Rumors spread quickly, the enemy was ready to strike. The people of Kaydee hid behind their strong walls and prayed for a miracle. The atmosphere in Kaydee grew tense as people tried to balance hope with despair. At the same time, the 5 children, now far away in the deep forest, began a journey that was both dangerous and magical. They walked along narrow paths under towering trees. The forest was dark and mysterious, but sometimes bright beams of sunlight broke through the leaves and danced on the ground. Along the way, the children helped each other, sharing simple words of encouragement. Though they were young, they carried a secret strength that came from a deep, unknown power. At night, as the children rested on soft moss and listened to the whisper of the wind, they dreamed of home. They imagined the faces of their loved ones and the happy streets of Kaydee. Their hearts beat with a mix of fear and determination. They knew that they were part of a plan that was bigger than themselves. The oracle's command was not just a call for sacrifice but a promise of hope, a promise that their town might one day rise again. In a secluded clearing deep within a peaceful grove, the oracle's dwelling appeared as if by magic. The building was modest, a small, circular structure made of smooth stones and aged wood. Soft light glowed from within, and a gentle breeze carried a sense of ancient wisdom. When the children stepped through the doorway, they felt no fear. Instead, they sensed that they had arrived at a sacred place where time moved differently, and the air was filled with hope. Inside the dwelling, the atmosphere was warm and calm. The oracle, a figure of quiet power and kind eyes, waited for them in a simple room decorated with symbols of nature and light. The oracle did not speak harshly nor demand trials of suffering. Instead, in a soft, reassuring tone, the oracle welcomed the children. "You have come from your beloved Kaydee," the oracle said. "I know the pain in your hearts and the heavy burden you carry. Today, I will do what is needed to help you protect your town." The oracle led the group to a wide, circular chamber at the center of the dwelling. The walls of the chamber were adorned with carvings of ancient trees and symbols of the sun and moon. In the middle of the room rested a smooth stone altar. On the altar lay 5 small vessels, each filled with a warm, golden light that pulsed gently as if it had a heartbeat. The oracle explained that these were not ordinary gifts. They were blessings that would transform the children into protectors of Kaydee, a strength born not from steel or force, but from the power of hope, love, and unity. Gazing at the vessels, the children listened as the oracle spoke softly. "The first blessing I give you is the light of courage. This light will fill you with the strength to face your deepest fears. When you feel the darkness of doubt, let this light remind you of the bravery that lies within." Slowly, the oracle lifted one of the vessels and held it before the children. A warm glow spread from the light, and the children felt a quiet, strong energy fill their hearts. They stood together, united, as the light seeped into each of them. Next, the oracle introduced the second blessing. The second blessing is the gift of peace. In times of confusion and turmoil, let this peace calm your minds and soothe your hearts. Know that true strength is found in unity and in the gentle spirit of love. As the oracle spoke, the golden light in the second vessel pulsed with a soothing rhythm, and the children felt their worries soften, replaced by a serene calm that bound them even closer together. Then, the oracle moved to the third blessing. I now bestow upon you the wisdom of ages. With this wisdom, you will understand that every challenge, no matter how great, can be met with a clear mind and a gentle heart. Trust in the lessons of the past and in the guidance of your inner light. As the oracle's words filled the chamber, the children felt an inner clarity, as if the voices of their ancestors were speaking softly in their ears. The fourth blessing was next. This blessing is the heart of love, a gift that connects you with the spirit of Kaydee itself. Let your love for your town and for one another be a shield against any harm. Remember that every act of kindness strengthens the bonds of our home. The soft, golden glow from the fourth vessel spread over the children, wrapping them in a warm embrace that filled them with the pure, steady love of their people. Finally, the oracle revealed the fifth blessing. The final blessing is the promise of dawn. This is a promise that no matter how dark the night, a new day will always come. With this gift, you will be the living symbol of hope, a beacon that guides your people out of despair. The light of the fifth vessel shone brightly, mingling with the others. In that moment, the children felt as if they were bathed in the very first rays of a hopeful sunrise. As the oracle completed the blessing, a soft, magical light enveloped the group. The children did not feel pain or fear, instead, they felt a transformation deep within their souls. They stood united, no longer just children, but as vessels of hope and strength destined to protect Kaydee. The oracle's magic did not force them to fight or test them through hardship, it simply filled them with a power that was gentle yet unyielding. For many days after the blessing, the children remained at the oracle's dwelling. They sat quietly together, absorbing the new light within them. The oracle did not demand that they hurry back, instead, the promise of their return was left to the will of fate. The children spent these days in peaceful meditation and conversation, their bond growing stronger with every moment. They remembered their home with love and carried the memory of their families like a soft, steady flame. Back in Kaydee, the mood in the town was heavy with worry. The people had watched the day the children left with trembling hearts. In the days that followed, the silence from the oracle's place was a painful echo in every home. Mothers prayed at their doorsteps, and fathers paced outside the ancient walls, hoping for any sign that their beloved children were safe. The elders gathered in the town square, speaking in hushed tones about the mysterious power of the oracle and wondering if the blessing had been granted as promised. Time passed slowly in Kaydee. Every sunrise brought a mix of hope and anxiety, and every sunset deepened the worry. The people of Kaydee clung to the memory of better times, and the promise that the oracle's blessing would protect them was a fragile thread holding their spirits together. They believed that the oracle would not have taken the children without a purpose, and that on the day when their town needed them most, the blessing would awaken. Meanwhile, in the quiet seclusion of the oracle's grove, the children remained united. They spoke softly about their shared feelings, about the warmth they now carried in their hearts and the strength that had replaced their fear. They recalled the stories of their home, the laughter of friends, and the songs of the elders. The oracle's dwelling had become a place of quiet transformation, a space where the gentle magic of hope could work its wonders without the harsh test of battle. Every day, the oracle visited them, his presence as comforting as a familiar friend. He would sit with the children, sharing quiet words of wisdom and reminding them that their time to return would come when it was needed most. The power I have given you will shine brightest in the darkest hour, he told them with a calm smile. Wait, and trust that fate will guide you back to Kali when your town calls for you. And so, the children waited. They did not rush or try to leave. They understood that the blessing was not yet complete until the moment of need arrived. Their transformation was meant to be unveiled when the enemy came, the day foretold by whispers in Kali. As the days rolled by, the children maintained their unity, and the gentle magic of the oracle continued to fortify them with each quiet hour. Back in the town, the sound of anxious whispers and nervous footsteps grew louder as the threat from the neighboring towns became real. Rumors of a new, great attack spread quickly through the streets. The people of Kali had prepared as best as they could, but the fear of an enemy on the horizon was hard to shake. Their hearts ached for the children, who had become the town's only hope. Every villager prayed that the blessing bestowed by the oracle would soon be seen in action. The stage was set for a fateful day, when the dark clouds of envy and attack would finally roll over Kali. The children, united and transformed by the gentle power of the oracle, remained in their sacred grove, waiting with steady hearts. They did not return to Kali until the moment when the enemy would come, for that was the promise of the oracle. Their power would be revealed when the town was in its darkest hour. However, as the town of Kali braced itself for the coming storm, the blessing in the hearts of the children burned quietly, like a promise waiting to be fulfilled. The oracle's gentle magic had prepared them to be more than just children. They were now the living embodiment of hope, courage, and the promise of a new dawn. And as the winds of destiny began to stir, both the people of Kali and the children entrusted their fate to the unfolding story of that fateful day. The day of reckoning had finally come. Dark clouds gathered above Kali, and a heavy wind swept through the town. The once peaceful streets now echoed with distant sounds of marching feet. The armies from the jealous neighboring towns had gathered at the borders, determined to take what they believed was rightfully theirs. Kali, a town once filled with laughter and prosperity, now trembled in fear as its people braced for the attack. For many days after the children left for the oracle, the people of Kali had watched the horizon with anxious hearts. Mothers clutched their children close, and fathers paced near the walls, whispering prayers for the safe return of the blessed ones. The elders, though full of quiet hope, had no choice but to face the growing terror of an invading force. The men of Kali had lost their courage, and the town's once strong defenders had hidden behind high barricades, too afraid to meet the enemy head-on. In every corner of the town, worry was written on the faces of the people. They remembered the day the elders took the 5 young boys away, a day of silent tears and heavy hearts. Rumors and hushed conversations spread, each one wondering if the oracle's promise would be enough to save them. No word had come from the oracle's dwelling, and so the town's hope seemed as fragile as a thin thread. As the enemy forces drew closer, the sound of their marching became louder and more ominous. The invaders, armed with sharp swords and heavy shields, moved in formation. Their eyes burned with envy and anger, convinced that the wealth and happiness of Kali could be easily stolen. The sound of clashing metal and harsh shouts filled the air as they neared the great gate of Kali. At that critical moment, when despair seemed about to overtake the town, a soft light began to glow on the horizon. Out of the dark, looming trees came a single, united group, a group that had been away so long it was almost forgotten. It was the children, still together as one, returning from the oracle at last. They had not come back until now, when their town was in its darkest hour. The sight that met the eyes of the townspeople was breathtaking. The children, once small and gentle, now shone with a mysterious, warm light. Their eyes sparkled with the power of the blessings they had received, the light of courage, the gift of peace, the wisdom of ages, the heart of love, and the promise of dawn. They walked side by side, moving with a calm determination that silenced even the loudest cries of fear. From behind the thick walls, the people of Kali could only watch in stunned silence. The children had become something more than just innocent faces. they were now the living symbols of hope and strength. Their very presence radiated a powerful energy that pushed back the gloom and despair that had taken hold of the town. Every person who saw them felt a spark of courage return to their hearts. At the main gate, where the enemy's forces had gathered to strike, the children halted. They formed a tight circle, standing shoulder to shoulder as one united force. Their expressions were peaceful yet determined, and a gentle glow surrounded them as if they were bathed in the first light of a new day. It was a sight that made even the bravest warriors on the enemy side hesitate. The invaders, who had expected an easy victory against fearful and helpless adults, now found themselves face to face with a power they did not understand. Their confident march slowed, and murmurs of confusion and fear began to spread among their ranks. The leader of the enemy, a man whose voice had once boomed with orders, now faltered as he looked upon the radiant faces of the children. In that moment, his bravado was replaced by uncertainty. The children did not raise their voices or draw weapons. Instead, their very presence spoke volumes. The light of courage shone in their eyes, telling every onlooker that fear was not the path they would choose. The gift of peace filled their hearts so that their movements were calm and measured, not driven by anger but by a deep sense of duty and love. Their silent unity was powerful. Each child was connected to the others by an invisible bond that had been strengthened by the oracle's blessing. The enemy took a step forward, trying to break the circle of light with shouts and clashing metal. But as they advanced, the children began to move. In a series of graceful, almost dance-like motions, they stepped into the space between the invaders and the town. Every step was deliberate and calm, a quiet defiance that spoke louder than any battle cry. The blessings they carried worked in unison, creating an aura of hope that spread out in all directions. Arrows and spears that had been aimed at the children seemed to falter as if caught in a gentle wind. The energy of the blessings formed a shield around them, the shield not of steel, but of hope and unity. The invaders' weapons clattered harmlessly against this invisible barrier, and their fierce shouts slowly turned to whispers of disbelief. No matter how hard they tried, they could not breach the circle of light. The leader of the enemy, now trembling with uncertainty, stepped forward once again. He tried to rally his men with words of defiance, but when he looked into the calm, shining eyes of the children, he saw not just bravery, but a reflection of the lost hope he himself once had. In that moment, the strength of the oracle's blessing seemed to speak directly to his heart, reminding him that true power comes not from conquest, but from the unity of hearts. One by one, the enemy soldiers began to lower their weapons. The sound of marching feet faltered, and confusion replaced the harsh order they had once followed. The invaders, unable to understand the miracle before them, slowly turned back. Their formation broke, and they retreated from the gate of Kaydee, leaving behind the anger and envy that had driven them to war. Inside Kaydee's walls, the people erupted into cheers and cries of relief. The sound of despair turned into joyous celebration as families rushed out to embrace one another. The elders, with tears of gratitude in their eyes, lifted their hands in silent praise of the oracle's promise fulfilled. The town, once paralyzed by fear, was now alive with the spirit of hope. The children remained at the gate, standing as silent guardians long after the enemy had disappeared. Their united stance was a reminder that the strength of Kaydee lay not in fear or weapons, but in the enduring power of love, courage, and unity. The blessings that the oracle had given them shone like beacons of light, promising that even in the darkest night, a new dawn was always possible. That evening, as the sun slowly dipped below the horizon, the people of Kaydee gathered in the town square for a quiet celebration. There were no loud trumpets or clashing swords, only gentle music, soft laughter, and the warm glow of lanterns lighting up hopeful faces. The elders recounted the miraculous return of the children and the power of the blessings that had turned the tide of fear into a promise of a bright future. In homes and on streets, the story of the day spread like a comforting fire. Everyone remembered how the children, sent as a desperate hope, had returned just in time to save the town. Their unity had become a living example that true strength comes from the bonds of love and the courage to stand together. And though the men of Kaydee had once been too scared to face their enemies, they now found inspiration in the bravery of the young guardians. High above the town, under a sky filled with countless stars, the children sat together on a small hill. They did not speak of the battle or their newfound power. Instead, they listened to the soft murmur of the wind and watched the peaceful glow of the town they had saved. Hand in hand, they understood that they had fulfilled the oracle's promise. They were no longer just children, they were the living light of Kaydee, a beacon that would continue to guide their people through every dark night. The neighboring towns, having witnessed the miracle of that day, slowly came to understand that envy and anger could never overcome the power of hope. The legend of the brave, united children of Kaydee spread far and wide. A tale of gentle strength that outshone the force of might. No one dared to invade the land of Kaydee again, for the memory of that day remained a constant reminder. In the face of overwhelming fear, the light of unity, love, and hope would always rise to protect what is truly precious. And so, as the town of Kaydee settled into a new peace, the promise of a brighter future shone in every heart. The blessings of the oracle had not only saved the town but had rekindled the spirit of its people, proving that even in the darkest hour, hope could lead to a glorious dawn.